Hey guys, it's Ravyn. Um, so this is a PSA to every single person who wants their drinks at like 200 fucking degrees. You can't really tell the damage from the camera, but I know you can see the Neosporin that I just applied. Um, Not last night, but the night before, I was making an Americano and the 200-degree water overflowed on my hands. And I was lucky because I used to be a CNA and I've had first aid training. And because I'm so fair skinned, I've had a lot of sunburns. So I know how to deal with burns. And because of that experience and background, I didn't freeze or panic. I immediately went to the cold water. But I had my hand in cold water for a total of about an hour and a half. And the EMTs that were there first, because they happened to work right there, they couldn't do anything for me other than what I was already doing. And because it was so late at night, workers' comp sent me to the ER. And I scalded myself at 8, and I didn't end up getting home until midnight. Most of the burns were just regular old first degree burns. The last of that healed over, I guess, last night because it was still bothering me yesterday. The Neosporin you see is applied over blisters, so mild second degree burns. The total amount of time between the scald and getting under cold water was less than 2 seconds. Less than 2 seconds was enough to get second degree burns between my fingers. Mild, to be sure, but this was an area of my body that didn't have any fabric to hold the heat to my skin. This was immediately being able to apply cold water. This was absolutely the best case scenario for getting this temperature water splashed on me. I mean, if you get a drink that's 200 degrees and you spill it on your shirt, it's going to take a lot longer for you to remove the heat from your skin. And you're not going to be as lucky as I was. You are putting yourself and your barista at risk every time you ask for coffee over 170 degrees. You are putting yourself and your barista at risk anytime you complain that the coffee's not hot enough coming from the tap that comes out at 170 degrees. You are putting yourself and your barista at risk. And you may be okay with putting yourself at risk, but are you really okay with putting people like me at risk of getting these burns? I mean, the temperatures we're supposed to deal with are safe within the circumstances that I faced. The 200 degrees that comes directly out of the brewer that I'm forced to use to make Americanos because people complain about the other tap not being hot enough. Two days and 2 seconds. I have blisters between all of my fingers. I've got a couple little ones on my knuckles that I only noticed a couple minutes ago because they're not very visible. The itching the itching will not stop. Nothing I do makes it stop. I've given up on wrapping my hand because the itching was driving me absolutely insane. I couldn't sleep last night because I had to put an ice pack around my hand just to numb it, to stop the itching. And that's not even the worst of it. I mean, the itching is crazy making, but I went to work yesterday and I had my hand all wrapped up because I'm required to have my hand wrapped up when I'm working. That's the limitations that I was given to be able to return to work. And because the wrapping had to be around these knuckles, I can't wear gloves. And because I can't wear gloves, I can't make drinks. I have to be extremely careful about how I use tongs and such to even be able to hand out pastries. I cannot do anything that might get the bandages wet. I'm basically stuck on register until I heal. And register is the least favorite part of my job. I like making drinks. That's where the fun is. I mean, sure, the customer interaction's important, but I'm a barista, not a cashier. So it's really frustrating being at work and having to say, well, can I do this? And I did some things yesterday that I probably shouldn't have done because they damaged the wrapping on my hand, but I couldn't stand not being able to do anything. And I guess I'm glad I was at work yesterday because if I was at home, if I was stuck here with the way my hand was, because it was worse yesterday than it is today. I mean, the itching has gotten worse, but the backs of my knuckles were still really red and tender and sore. If I was stuck here, I would probably spend the entire day curled up crying. And I mean, how can you do that to yourself? How can you drink 200-degree temperature Americanos? How can you even think that anything less isn't hot enough? When 2 seconds is enough to get just to that very edge of a 2nd-degree burn. 2 seconds. That's all it took. 2 seconds, and I am stuck in this hell of having dozens of tiny little blisters between each finger, itching and driving me crazy and driving me to the point where I can't sleep. Because there's so many nerve endings in my hand. can you think that demanding your drink be 200 degrees is safe? How can you insist on that? How can you drink that? I don't understand. I don't understand how these people never manage to be scalded by the drinks that they insist be so hot. It just. Okay. I'm gonna stop because I think I'm just gonna keep rambling forever if I don't. I'm going crazy here. It itches so much. But if I try and do anything about the itching, it starts to hurt. And I can't figure out how to wrap my hand without my fingers being like this and being like, this hurts because of where the blisters are. I just want it to heal already. It hurts. Stop ordering your fucking coffee at 200 degrees. You don't understand how dangerous that really is. You don't. Just stop it. Just